Efforts continue to get vehicles pulled out of Lake Poygan and Lake Winnebago after that wild weather erupted on the sturgeon spearing last Friday night.
Yeah, that's right. Gusting winds and blowing snow disoriented many out there on the lakes. Fox 11's Nick Harrington has more on what happened and how weather conditions even made it difficult for rescues.
This is probably the most I've seen go in one weekend.
Following Friday's snow squall, cars are still needing to be pulled out of Lakes Poygan and Winnebago. Herman SUNK dive and ice service crews say they're responding to 24 vehicles that either sank to the bottom or fell in a crack on the ice.
It was a whiteout. It was like a blizzard out there, and the best thing for you to do when you're out fishing and a squall or whatever comes through or a snowstorm, just sit in your vehicle.
That's so your vehicle doesn't end up like this, needing to be towed off the lake. Lieutenant Tim Eichman with the Winnebago County Sheriff's Office says they're still figuring out how many vehicles went in. He points to visibility as the hardest thing drivers had to work through.
Even the fire departments were having a hard time locating people in need of rescue, even though their lights or the flashers on their vehicles were on.
He adds some of those rescued were wet from going into the lakes and were treated on scene. Systems Director for Gold Cross Ambulance Nick Romanesco says they responded to 3 ice rescues within their service area by Lake Winnebago, adding the problem wasn't just limited to people falling through the ice.
More just people that were in ice shacks or ice shanties that physically could not find their way back to shore because the visibility was so poor.
Whipping winds and blowing snow made the rescues challenging, with visibility also limited for first responders.
On the ice, with nothing blocking it, it was, 5 to 10 feet. It wasn't very easy for them to see. Spotlights become really non-useful in that situation because you're just going to hit the flakes and the snowflakes with the lights.
After working sun up to sundown for the last 5 days, Herman has a message for those with cars in the lakes.
They're on the bottom. They're not going to go anywhere. Customers really want them out, but I said it's probably the safest it's ever been because nobody can steal it.
On a very blustery Tuesday morning, waves pound the shoreline at Crescent Beach. Lucy Klessig is checking conditions here.
It's interesting watching all the ice shoves and the pier get built up with all the ice from the waves crashing over it.
Winter's fury is on display. Waves are building and building before slamming near the shore. Algoma Public Works Director Matt Murphy says the shoves protect the half-mile-long beach.
Fortunately, right now we do have a decent amount of ice shove that's pushed up onto our beach that kind of helps our beach erosion and stops that it's breaking the waves onto that ice shoves instead of hitting our beach and taking that sand back off with it.
Murphy says the frozen spray is impressive.
The waves come in and they hit those snow shoves and they're probably, pushing up into the air 20, 30 feet. It's actually pretty neat to watch.
But Murphy says people need to stay off the ice and enjoy the shoves from the safety of the shoreline.
Do not go out there walking on them with the water that's coming up and splashing onto it. But number 2 is you don't know where there's a gap in between there where there's a little bit of snow maybe that's holding. You could fall in, you're going to fall down 10 or 12 feet right into the lake. You're not on the beach. That's actually in the water.
That's something Lucy Klessig keeps in mind because she says there's still plenty of wintry weather ahead.
It just seems to get bigger every day and kind of melts a little bit here and there, but it's pretty steady.
This was a scene outside of Lake Poygan on Friday night after multiple vehicles fell through the ice. While snowfall was light, heavy winds blew the snow around.
Don't venture out. Don't try to risk your life.
Owner of Smokies on the Bay, Jeff Tilkins, says the conditions now on Lake Winnebago and Oshkosh are dangerous. Adding with warnings for high wind and snow squalls, people on the ice should have known to get off early. Tilkins says that people aren't following the bridges out on the ice, and that's just one of the factors for cars falling through. Oshkosh Fire Department confirmed to Fox 11 it responded to 8 calls Friday and 3 on Saturday. While there are no injuries, the fire department had a crew come in to fully staff an ice boat just in case a car like this one fell through, causing damage to the grill. Meanwhile, Brad Legnioli saw 2 trucks submerged in Lake Winnebago. After seeing that, he no longer felt safe.
I'm a little bit nervous out there, and especially, if you can kind of see down a little bit. So, yeah, I needed to get off.
If you find yourself in a similar situation to this one, Tilkins says the worst thing to do is panic.
As long as you got gas, You can stay warm, you got your cell phone, your battery charged.
And to all spearers this season, Tilken says to follow instructions from fisheries and follow the bridges to stay safe.